What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of Top Shot Shot Clock presented by Top Shot Today. My name is Chris Heller, and our guest today is another Chris Otis of Otis Top Shot. Chris, what's happening, man?
Not much, man. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Chris clearly came to play today with the Celtics jersey and matching hat. And Chris, where are you?
Tatum jersey at that.
What jersey? Tatum?
Tatum, yeah.
All right.
I'm joining from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, sitting in my nice, comfy apartment.
We love these international interview and games here where we get somebody from the other side of the world. How did you end up in Vietnam?
Long story short, I didn't know what to do after I was getting ready to graduate from university, and I kind of just did a lot of research, what I could do like for a gap year, and I decided that teaching English in Vietnam might be a cool thing. Yeah, it's been almost 4 years now. The plan was 1 year at first, so things have changed obviously, and now I have no intention of living anywhere else for the foreseeable future. So yeah. Amazing. That's a very, very short version of the story. If you want the longer version, I've posted about it on my Otis Top Shot blog already, so you can have a read.
Speaking of, tell us about your contribution to the Top Shot ecosystem with the blog.
Well, hopefully others view it as a contribution. I kind of just view it as an outlet to get my thoughts out into the universe. I have a weekly blog. I post every Sunday about Top Shot stuff, and I've kind of been working in some NBA specific content, kind of gearing away from like Top Shot specific material during the week sometimes as well. It's Otis Top Shot on Substack. You can find it on my Twitter, and hopefully, some of you will find something worthwhile and useful from it. I try to approach it kind of from like a long-term collector's standpoint, from like a basketball lover's point of view. I'm no economist or market analyst or anything like that. So while I do dive into some moment values and stuff that I see, it's more geared towards basketball side of things at the same time.
Well, people are obviously reading your stuff because the fans were clamoring and yelling and screaming to get you on the Top Shot Shot Clock, and here we are. So
here we are. I appreciate that.
And are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. I watched a couple episodes over the last few days. I'm ready to do it.
All right, let's go. "24 seconds on the clock for Chris Otis. Question number 1. When you were a little kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I guess it probably changed throughout my childhood, but the one thing I really wanted to be for the longest time was actually like a storm chaser, or like a meteorologist, like storm researcher. I was really into like weather and tornadoes when I was a kid. I still am actually. But yeah, I would always watch like storm chasing videos and stuff on YouTube or like on the TV shows and stuff like that. And I was obsessed. And I actually did some storm chasing when I was at the University of North Texas in my Nissan Altima, which looking back is probably a really horribly dangerous and dumb decision, but it was a lot of fun.
That is the first time that we've had that answer, storm chaser, I guess. So we're off to a unique start here. What will cause,
I love it. Let's do it.
What will cause the next NBA Top Shot market boom? If there is one, because there probably some people out in the world who think there will never be one again, but I believe you're on the other side of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I was telling you earlier, I'm Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows when it comes to Top Shot. So there will definitely be another boom. What will cause it? I think there's a variety of things. Maybe LeBron or somebody or Curry tweeting about it could cause a short spike. But I think they're aiming more towards a sustainable, long-term, slow growth as opposed to that big February bounce we saw in the market, because that got a lot of people burned and hurt. And it's not sustainable. So hopefully just smart decisions by Dapper, word of mouth, and eventually marketing.
If you could give a TED Talk on any topic, what would it be?
Ooh, good question. If I'm going to approach this from the angle of the thing I could talk about most easily and maybe provide some kind of value from, then probably like learning English as a second language, since that's what I teach. I'm an ESL teacher, and specifically the IELTS exam, which is a big like English exam for international students and stuff. And I know way too much about that, and it's completely useless outside of my career, but I think that's probably what I could talk about most easily for a long time.
What is a moment in NBA history that you'd like to see on Top Shot?
Ooh, I'm going to go the unconventional and definitely cannot happen route with this one. Paul Pierce shitting himself and pretending he broke his leg and getting carried out in a wheelchair. That is 100% something I wish we could have on Top Shot. I would spend all of my money on that and liquidate my entire account for it.
That would be an interesting one. Let's say I'm coming to Ho Chi Minh this weekend. Where are you taking me? What are we doing?
All right, if you were coming to Ho Chi Minh City this weekend, well, we'd probably be holed up in my apartment because COVID. So in a COVID-free world, COVID-free world, I would take you around the city. There's a few really cool historical sites, like stuff related to the war and things like that. But it's just a really cool, beautiful, modern city now. And then go visit a few of the interesting attractions and some really tall skyscrapers and stuff. And then we could just get hammered. There's a lot of great bars and stuff, and it'd be a lot of fun.
Let's say you have $10,000 to buy one moment today. What's it going to be?
I spent some time thinking about this question in case you would ask it. And I came to the conclusion that I would overpay for a low cereal for Ja Morant's S1 base debut. And that would be because I was thinking about maybe Zion or somebody like that. But I actually think Ja Morant will be better than Zion long term and will win multiple MVPs. And I'm going to bet on that since it's a rookie debut.
Hot, blazing take from the other side.
Blazing hot take. I don't know if it's blazing if you saw him in the playoffs, man. I don't know.
Multiple MVPs. I have not heard that one, but I'll take it, man. I
maybe two or three.
All right. I'm going to give you two names. Choose to keep one, and the other one has never existed. So we're going to do a couple rapid fire ones here. Red Auerbach or Bill Belichick?
Oh, fuck. I guess I have to go with keep Belichick just because the memories that I have of the Patriots winning Super Bowls, which of course as a Boston sports fan is huge for me. I wouldn't want to rip those memories away from myself because they were just too special and meaningful. So I'll keep Belichick, and unfortunately I probably just destroyed the Celtics franchise.
Matt Damon or Ben Affleck?
I'll keep Affleck.
Tom Brady or Larry Bird?
Oh, this is a tough one. You're hitting me with these NFL versus NBA stuff, and I really do like the NBA just a little bit more, but because the Patriots have been so successful in my life, I have more incredible memories associated with them, so I have to keep Brady.
What are you great at?
What am I great at? That's a tough one. I feel like I'm good at a lot of things and great at not that many. But I guess I'm great at... I'll go with a cheesy one. I'm great at being a good friend.
All right. It's a good thing to be great at.
Yeah, I hope so, at least. Let's see if my friends agree. If they see this, they'll be flaming me in the comments.
Who's the best athlete to ever play at North Texas U?
That would be Mean Joe Green. So yeah, actually, just a quick story. I know I'll probably go over 24 here, but Mean Joe Green actually got his nickname when the Steelers fan base made a mistake and thought the Mean Green defense from UNT's football team at the time was his nickname. They thought Mean Green was referring to him. So when the Steelers drafted him, they made that mistake, and the paper started calling him like Mean Joe Green as a result of that. But it was actually UNT's defense that was referred to as Mean Green at the time. It was led by him and a couple other guys. But yeah, that was like the peak of North Texas athletics when they had a great defense for like 3 years. And then it's all kind of fallen downhill since then.
Nice. I'm never going to forget both the nickname of North Texas and the Mean Joe Green story. That's a nice pairing there. How does NBA Top Shot fail?
I think it would fail ultimately because of us as a user base, because I don't see how the NBA putting their weight behind this, and the NBA like PA as well, and Dapper Labs, like I'm probably going to get hated on for this. They've done an amazing job with this product, and they've grown so much, even though I came in at the peak and I've lost a lot of money. I really do believe that, and I see the growth in the big picture here. The only way I could see this going down is if all of us kind of get impatient and give up on this before it's ready to be mature.
What's a piece of advice that has always stuck with you?
I think the best piece of advice I've ever gotten that kind of stuck with me was to just always kind of do my own thing and live true to myself. And that's what kind of led to me going on this journey across to the other side of the world and kind of finding my own way, rather than just staying in my hometown for my whole life, which not to crap on my hometown, because it is a beautiful town, but a lot of people kind of grow up there and then just stay there. And that's a very Rhode Island thing in general, but for some reason, my town specifically seems to anchor people in.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that for myself. And I've always been told by my parents and other people, like, as much as we want you around, go do your own thing. Right. And I think that's the best.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a problem, or problem is the wrong word. Just it's an issue in a lot of places where people, it's you do what you know, and you just become comfortable and just keep going on a path that other people have set before you. Whereas you're clearly taking action and doing your thing, which I really appreciate and respect. Let's say Bill Russell has a moment for auction tomorrow, a one of one. What's it going for?
Oh God, it's gonna be a lot of money. I mean, if it's a one of one and it's a legend like Bill Russell, then of course the heavy hitters are gonna come out for that. And I think some people from outside of this space would come in for that as well. So I would imagine that it would have to be 7 figures. I don't think it would quite be anything more than that, because it's not somebody like MJ or Kobe, and somebody from an earlier time period. But I would say definitely at least $1 million, but probably a little bit more.
If you could have any music group alive today play at your next birthday party, who would it be?
It's an interesting question, because I'm kind of torn between picking someone I actually want to see, and somebody that could be kind of a ridiculous thing to kind of troll everybody. So I think I'll lean more towards that end, and I'll go with some crazy metal group, something like Annotations of an Autopsy or something. Just some absolutely ridiculous, crazy, heavy band that'll just make everyone really annoyed. But if I was picking one actually that I want for myself, I would still go the heavy route. A band called Architects from the UK is probably my favorite band right now, so I would pick them.
I'm not familiar with either of those bands' work, so either one would probably be equal as crazy. But as long as I get the invite, I'll take it.
Yeah, you're in, man.
You mentioned about being a good friend earlier. What are 3 words that your best friend would use to describe you?
I would say genuine, loyal, and an asshole. Those would be the 3.
Assholes. Loyal assholes sound like a lot of my friends as well. So let's say you're the new GM of the Celtics. What's a big move that you make this offseason?
Oh man, so I see there's a lot of talk in the Celtics kind of online community and from reporters and stuff talking about would they trade for Damian Lillard, and that would have to probably involve Jaylen Brown, which would really, really, really hurt my heart. But Lillard is genuinely my favorite NBA player. So I think if I was at the helm and I had an opportunity to get Lillard and Tatum together, even though it would kind of shorten the title window that they might have with a Tatum-Brown pairing, I don't think I would be able to turn that down. I think I would have to make that a reality.
Do you think that happens in real life?
I don't think it's going to happen in real life. I don't see Portland trading Lillard this offseason unless he changes his tune and puts in like a strict, like an actual demand for a trade.
Right.
But I think this kind of stretches out for another year or so, or at least until up until the trade deadline. And then if he moves, I don't know if Brad Stevens has the balls to pull that off, but we'll see. I do think Brad will be great as a GM, but I don't know. That's a tough move.
What would you eat for your last meal?
Definitely, I would eat 2 things: a giant burger and a giant pizza, with a giant beer on the side as well.
What if I said it had to be a Vietnamese cuisine?
Vietnamese cuisine. Then I think I would go with, well, everyone is familiar with pho, I'm assuming. But there's a fried version of that where it's like fried pho noodles with like stir-fried beef and things like that. And that has been my go-to favorite recently. So I would go with that, I think.
If you could work for any person in the world, who would it be and what would the job title be?
At the moment, I will pick Roham. And my job title would be King of Top Shot.
Way to stay on brand. I love it. What is a book that you think everyone needs to read?
All right, I'm going to go the unconventional route with this one. There's an interesting book that I'm in the process of reading called The Jakarta Method. And it's a very politically heavy book. It's like a historical analysis of how the US, through the CIA, kind of committed like mass murder across the world throughout like developing countries in order to stamp out communism during the Cold War. And it kind of totally flips the Cold War narrative on its head and just kind of questioned everything we know about US foreign policy and like being the good guy and stuff like that. So I think it's an incredible book and like a must read for every American, just to kind of wrap our heads around the true reality of the world that we live in. So I'll go with that.
Great answer. Who is a content creator in the Top Shot space that you can't miss? You have to read or watch or see all of their content.
Okay, I'm gonna shout out two specifically. Joe Swam, of course. Joe is a legend. He's literally he's like the Top Shot dad. He's all of our dad at this point, I think. Whether we're young or old, I think he's our dad. And he's just always writes nice stuff and can't miss his stuff. And the other one would be Pack Rip Ewing. I aspire to be as good of a writer as Pack Rip is when it comes to Top Shot stuff. Every single time I feel like I'm catching up to him. I read his newest stuff and he sets the bar a little bit higher. So I'm always trying to feel like I'm chasing what he's doing. And yeah, it's always fantastic stuff. So those two.
Let's say your answer from a couple minutes ago comes true and you are king of Top Shot for the day, at least. What is a thing that you put into effect immediately?
That's a really tough one. Like I was saying before, I do feel like Tapper have done an incredible job with Top Shot, and there are very few things along the way that I have disagreed with after I've seen their explanation for it. But one thing I would really like to implement now is a way to like organize the moments that we have. I feel like it's such an impersonal way to sort and view things now, where they're just kind of like just on a screen. Whereas like with physical collectibles, of course, it's going to be different. But like trading cards, you can organize them however you want. Put them in folders, group them together by team or by style or whatever, right? And I just feel like having that kind of creativity behind it would make it so much more interactive and so much more like, I don't know, so much better, like the after pack and after purchase experience, because I feel like now the whole experience is buy something and then kind of forget about it. And I wish there was something I could do with the moments, like move them around and, organize them in a way that makes me feel like I actually own them rather than just kind of looking at them.
For sure. What's a great compliment that you received that has always stuck with you?
Ooh, let me think. A great compliment that I have received. I guess I've been told by a couple different people that I'm very trustworthy. And I think that's something that's always held a lot of weight with me. If people like legitimately trust me with important information or with advice or anything like that, then I think that's really, really cool.
Who's your favorite stand-up comedian?
I've kind of fallen out of stand-up stuff in the last couple of years, but my favorite is probably Neil Brennan. Really, really funny dude.
Yes. What is one thing that you haven't done yet that you've always really wanted to do?
Let me think. Just in general, I want to travel more. I want to visit more countries. I've been privileged enough to have visited 14, I think. And a bucket list goal of mine has always been go to every country. And I think that's incredibly unrealistic and it's never going to happen. But get to as many new ones as I can while I still have an opportunity, which I feel like my window is slowly closing and COVID is making it tighter and tighter every day.
Not helping it. Not helping your cause there.
It's really not helping. Yeah, it canceled a few of my trips in the last 2 years that have knocked countries off my list. But yeah, I would say visit as many more countries as possible.
Great goal. I hope you get as close to all as possible. And now question 24, here we are. In 24 seconds or less, how would you convince someone that is skeptical of joining Top Shot that they need to get involved?
Okay, so assuming that they already know all about the product, they know the ins and outs, they're just kind of skeptical about what the purpose is or the long-term outlook. To me, Top Shot is legitimately the future of NBA fandom and collectibles. I kind of foresee a future with like in arena utility, and of course that doesn't work for someone like me who lives on the other side of the world. So there's going to be other utility as well. But I do see the potential for this going long term. And if you're in this just to make a quick buck, that ship has sailed. I think that ship was in January and in February if you timed it right. So you're going to be in it for the right reasons. And if you're here because you genuinely love the product and you think it's going to work long term and that it is the future of NBA fandom, whatever that may mean, then it's worth investing your money in, I think.
All right, I'm sold. I'm going to go sign up in 2 minutes right after we're done here.
Hell yeah.
That was great. Great job. I think there might have been a few shot clock violations throughout there, but
I have been known to be long-winded, so I do apologize.
Listen, the clock manager often falls asleep on the job, so I don't think you're going to get too many buzzers. Where can people read your stuff and find your blog/newsletter?
Okay, so simply enough, you can find me on Twitter. So you can see it above, Otis Top Shot. My Instagram as well. I'm a photographer on the side. I like to post pictures on Instagram, so have a look there. For my blog/newsletter, it is simply otistopshot.substack.com. The link is in my bio in Twitter. So very, very easy to find. And I would appreciate if you stumble upon it, follow me there, subscribe to it. It's totally free for now, at least. So we will see.
Great job, Chris. I appreciate you joining us from whatever day, time in the future you are in Vietnam over there. And thanks for playing. It's great having you.
I can see from all the way in 13 hours in the future, your account value will go down today. I do apologize.
You heard it here, guys. So just don't even bother looking today. Don't even bother.
Don't bother looking for the next few weeks, but it will go back up someday, I promise.
Someday. We're all here to be ready when that happens. Thanks, Chris Otis, for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Episode of Top Shot Shot Clock, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. Go Celtics.